You scroll through Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. Pick your poison. It's a never-ending parade of wins. Promotions, six-figure launches, TED Talks, bodies that look like they eat nothing but sunlight and kale. And it's easy to assume, damn, they've got it all figured out. But here's the thing nobody tells you. What you're seeing is the highlight reel, not the full documentary. The sleepless nights, panic attacks between Zoom calls, existential spirals at 2 a.m., those don't get filtered through social media. Success, at least the kind that sticks, usually comes bundled with a chaotic internal world. And high performers? They're not immune. If anything, they've just gotten really good at managing the mess behind the curtain. You ever notice how some high achievers look calm on the outside, but admit they feel like a pressure cooker inside? That's not a personality quirk. That's the nervous system running on fumes. Neuroscience tells us that chronic stress rewires the brain, especially the amygdala, the part responsible for fear and survival instincts. It becomes hyperactive, while the prefrontal cortex, the logical, calm decision maker, starts to dim like a dying phone battery. High performers often normalize this chaos because, well, it gets results, but there's a cost. Anxiety, burnout, even depersonalization sneak in like background apps draining your system. The scary part? You might not even notice until your body pulls the emergency brake. Migraines, gut issues, insomnia. Success isn't the problem. The untreated nervous system is. What separates those who crash from those who keep rising isn't just talent or luck. It's what they do off camera. I'm talking about the tiny, consistent, almost boring mental health routines that never make it to the highlight reel. Meditation for 10 minutes in the morning. Journaling when everything feels like too much. Breath work in between back-to-back meetings. These things seem small, almost insignificant. But neuroscience shows that repetition is how we rewire the brain. Those quiet rituals, they're not luxuries, they're neural training. They teach your body that safety isn't only found in achievement, it can also be found in stillness. Funny how the most powerful routines are usually the least sexy ones. Here's something more high performers are starting to say out loud. Therapy isn't just for when you're falling apart. It's not the fire extinguisher behind the glass. It's more like routine maintenance, like changing the oil before your engine explodes. In psychology, we talk about cognitive restructuring, basically learning to catch and reframe the thoughts that mess you up before they hijack your whole day. Therapy gives you that. It helps high achievers notice when their ambition is quietly turning into self-sabotage. The most dangerous beliefs aren't the loud ones. They're the silent rules we carry like, if I'm not grinding, I'm worthless. Therapy helps rewrite those scripts. And yeah, it's work. But so is breaking down mid-launch because you never dealt with your inner chaos. People think discipline is waking up at 5 a.m. or hitting inbox 0. But for high performers, real discipline looks like boundaries. Saying no to the 9th meeting of the day. Closing the laptop even when there's more to do. Not checking Slack after dinner. It feels wrong at first, like you're dropping the ball. But here's the psychological kicker. Without boundaries, your brain never switches out of threat mode. You're constantly in fight or flight, even while answering emails. Over time, this erodes your focus, creativity, and, yeah, your sense of self. Boundaries aren't walls to keep people out. They're guardrails to keep you from driving off a cliff. High performers who stay sane don't do everything. They choose what matters, and they protect their energy like it's non-refundable. Let's get real. Most high performers aren't running marathons before sunrise. But they do move. Not for the six-pack. For sanity. Movement is regulation. It tells your body, hey, we're not stuck, we're not dying, we're okay. That's Neurobiology 101. When you move, especially in rhythmic, low-intensity ways, walking, stretching, dancing in your kitchen, you're calming your nervous system and increasing dopamine, serotonin, even BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, a fancy term for brain fertilizer. The best part, you don't need a gym or a perfect routine. You just need to interrupt the freeze. High performers don't always feel like moving, but they do it anyway. Not because they're motivated, because they've learned motion creates emotion, and clarity, and breath. We glamorize hustle, but the real flex? Sleeping like your future depends on it, because it kinda does. High performers who last in the game don't treat sleep as optional. They treat it as a non-negotiable upgrade. Neuroscience backs this up hard. During deep sleep, your brain does literal cleanup. It clears out metabolic waste, consolidates memory, and resets emotional balance. Skip that cycle enough times, and your brain starts glitching. Poor focus, irritability, impulsive decisions, even depressive symptoms. No amount of caffeine can replace REM. Elite athletes guard their sleep like gold, and mental athletes, founders, creators, leaders, are catching on. The goal isn't just to rest, it's to recover with intention, so your mind is sharp enough to make big moves without breaking down. Here's the twist no one expects. The strongest high performers aren't the ones who push the hardest. They're the ones who pause, who reflect, who ask themselves the uncomfortable questions like, why am I really doing this? That's not weakness. That's emotional intelligence. Philosophy calls it know thyself. Psychology calls it self-awareness. Either way, it's the difference between building a career that fulfills you or one that slowly empties you out. The top 1% aren't just optimizing schedules, they're healing patterns. Learning to rest without guilt. Learning to value their worth even when they're not producing. Success without mental health isn't success. It's performance art. And high performers who get that? They're the ones who stay in the game and stay human. Hey, if you've made it this far, it means something. You care about your growth, your peace, your ability to stay human while chasing big things. Before I go, I want to tell you about something I made for people like you. People who are done pretending they're fine and ready to do the real work. It's called the Breaking Free from Mental Illness Bundle. And no, it's not just another self-help thing. This is a full system to untangle yourself from the noise, the anxiety, the constant mental grip that won't let go. Here's what you'll get. First, a reflective and transformative ebook. This isn't just something you read, it's something that talks to you, like a wiser version of yourself guiding you through the chaos. It blends modern psychology, neuroscience, and grounded philosophy into 7 core keys to help you rebuild from the inside out. Not with fluff, but with deep reflections that shift the way you think, feel, and respond to life. Then, 7. Brain Booster audio tracks with targeted affirmations. Each track is designed with brainwave technology to reach your subconscious, where real change actually happens. These are paired with precise, research-backed affirmations, layered to sink in while your brain is most open, especially as you fall asleep. So you're not just trying to feel better, you're retraining your brain to actually believe better. This is for you if you're stuck in loops of negative thoughts. You're tired of surface-level advice that doesn't last. You're ready for real, foundational change. Look, this isn't a quick fix. It's a quiet revolution, starting from within. A new kind of self-care for high performers with sensitive minds and heavy hearts. If this speaks to you, the link's in the description or in the bio. I hope it finds the part of you that's ready to come back home.